we mentioned about the scope of integrated design project, which can be divided into two categories: the planning and the design stage, as well as the procurement, implementations, and management. The integrated design project is normally done in 2 semesters. The first semesters will deal with the planning and the design stage. A development project is given to the students. Together with all the necessary informations, the students will need to study the development project and then produce the report for the planning as well as the design for the development project. This shall include the project feasibility study, environmental impact assessment, soil investigations, engineering plan, structural plan, and the water reticulation plans. After completing these scopes, the students will need to produce the followings in the second semesters of the integrated design project. Among the scope include the bills of quantity, master work program, tender or contract document, site safety and health planning report, construction's quality assurance plan, as well as the project cash flow and revenue. In order to produce this, the students will have to refer to the design and the planning outcome done in the previous semesters. In another word, the entire integrated design project is designed to be on basis of one development project, covering different aspects of the project. And this is the main purpose of the integrated design project, to demonstrate the linkage of different scopes done by engineers, which are interdependent on each other, to provide an overview to the job and responsibility of an engineer. In these videos, we're going to briefly introduce the connections between different scopes as listed in the content of the integrated design project. This is so that the students have an overview, knowing how to deal with the integrated design project and having an idea the connections of different scopes to be carried out in the integrated design project. Without further ado, let us get started. The slide here may seem to be very complicated, and you see the connections can be quite messy. We shall look into it one by one, pointing out the major part as well as the major functions of different scope of the projects. A development project normally starts with a concept, giving the informations regarding the type of development, the purpose of the development, where the development should take place, and etc. The developer or employer shows an intentions for the development. However, it is still unsure that whether the project is feasible. That's why we need a project feasibility study. The project feasibility studies can be on various aspects, such as the technical feasibility, as well as the financial feasibility. Normally, we look at the financial feasibility, especially when the projects involve typical development of residential or commercial buildings. When the development do not involve advanced technology, which have never been tested, normally the technical feasibility is not an issue. Therefore, our focus of the project feasibility, it will be more towards the financial feasibility to determine whether the project is worth investing. It will expect the SWOT analysis, which is the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat analysis for a development project, studying the market as well as the potential customers. Based on the outcome from the SWOT analysis, marketing strategies are established. During the project feasibility studies, we also do the rough estimations. As at this stage, many technical informations as well as the plans are yet to be produced, then we will just need to do some rough estimations, estimating the cost of acquiring the land, estimating the cost of the constructions, consultant fees, legal fees, and etc. Those are the major costs related to the project feasibility study. And then we make an estimations in terms of the intended selling price, quantify the potential profit and the returns of investment in order to decide whether the project is worth investing. Let's say now we have concluded the project is worth investing. Then the planners, architect, as well as the land surveyor shall involve. The planners deals with the planning for the development, producing the subdivision plans. Architects produce the architectural drawings, providing the information regarding the buildings to be constructed. And then you will need the land surveyor to produce the topography drawings. They will need to survey the site, acquire the elevations, shows the contour in order to provide information to the engineers for the design at the following stage. These informations are later to be passed to the engineers to produce the structural plan, engineering plan, and water reticulation plans. Structural plans are produced based on the architectural drawings. Engineers will need to propose the layout of the beams, columns, foundations, slabs, and etc. without affecting the aesthetic as per required by the architects. Typically, in structural plan, there are floor key plans by the numbers of the stories, ground floor, first floor, second floor, and etc. In the floor key plans, it provides the details of the beams, slabs, as well as the column. There are also foundations key plan, which can be shallow foundations like pad footing or deep foundations like pile foundations. Now, the type of the foundations to be used is dependent on the soil conditions, whether the soil has sufficient bearing capacity in undertaking the weight of the structures. That's why we need the soil investigations reports to know the conditions of the soil. Not only that, there are also requirements by the local authorities, especially deals with the development on the soft soil. Normally, the local authorities has a requirement not to have the settlements exceeding certain limits over a period of time. This shall also govern the type of the structures to be used in the development. Now, if the soil investigations report found out that the soil conditions have poor bearing capacity, the next thing that we would like to know, it will be the depth for the piles to reach to the hard structure. This allowed the engineers to estimate and predict the depth of the deep foundations in the design of the foundations. Next, we talk about the engineering plans. Engineering plans shall be worked on basis of the topography given by the land surveyor, as well as the subdivision plans as approved by the state planning authorities. The engineering plan will have to indicate the lot and sublot, as well as the adjacent lots, indicate the roads, drains, slopes, the proposed elevations, as well as the existing elevations. In the engineering plans, road sections, the details of the drains, retaining wall, curb, guardrails, and etc. whichever can be seen in the engineering plans are to be clearly given so that the contractors can build accordingly for the development projects. And then later, based on the engineering plan produced, water reticulation plan is later produced. The water reticulation plans provide the details and informations of the water supply system, bringing the waters to every single unit of the development project. You will need to clearly indicate that where you're going to tie in the proposed water reticulation system with the existing water mains, so that the water can be supplied to the water reticulation systems. You also need to indicate where are the fire hydrant, sluice valves, air valve, and etc. They should be calculating on the average daily demand of water, and you also need to estimate the peak demand to ensure sufficient water is to be supplied to the development project. Other than that, there are also requirements in terms of the pressure within the water reticulation systems. The pressure cannot be too low, as this is going to affect the flow of water in the water reticulation system. At the same time, the pressure cannot be too high, that may burst the water reticulation systems. This requirement shall be on basis of the water supply agencies that the development project is subjected to. Therefore, you will need to perform the network analysis to calculate the pressure under various circumstances, such as under the average daily demand, under the average daily demand plus the fire flow, and also under the peak demand, as indicated here. There are also requirements in terms of the maximum and minimum velocity of the water flow in the water reticulation system. Especially the velocity cannot be too slow, that will encourage the depositions of the sediments. All these plans need to be submitted to the local authorities as well as the water supply agency for review, evaluations, and approval. Therefore, it is important to check with their guidelines. Normally, there are forms and checklists to be filled, incorporating all the necessary requirements as stipulated by the local authorities as well as the water supply agencies. Since the integrated design project is designed on the basis that simulating the industrial applications, therefore, all the design will need to fulfill the requirements of the local authorities as well as the water supply agencies. Now that we have covered the project feasibility study, soil investigations, structural plan, engineering plan, and water reticulation systems, we have nearly covered all the scopes in the integrated design project except the environmental impact assessment. The environmental impact assessments deals with the evaluations of the potential impacts to the environment due to the development project. There shall be process of identifying the potential impacts as well as the evaluations of the significance of those impacts. The environmental impact assessment not only look into the biophysical environment, it also look into the impacts to the social and economics. You will need to study the development, the current environmental conditions, and forecast the potential impacts to the environment due to the development as well as after the development. We shall discuss in detail regarding the EIA metrics as well as the solutions after the environmental impact assessment. At this moment, you need to know that the environmental impact assessments is to be submitted to the Departments of Environment for evaluations and approval, which you need to follow their guidelines, and there are requirements to be fulfilled. This briefly introduces the scopes covered by the Integrated Design Project 1, which is the planning and the design stage for the Integrated Design Project done in the first semester of the IDP.